intro screen. There we are. Hi, we are live. I'm Rabbi Brian. This is the quote I thought we were going to discuss. We're not. There's no effect more disproportionate to its cause than the happiness bestowed by a small compliment.
Oh,
It's a good
Isn't that
one.
lovely?
That's a good one.
It's a good quote, Robert Brault. There is no effect more disproportionate to its cause than the happiness bestowed by a small compliment. I'm going to start by introducing and saying this service runs on its own accord. This is not all planned out ahead of time. And I think about it. I'll get to this quote in a second. When I taught high school, right? So I was ordained as a rabbi, regular organized denominational religion didn't speak with me properly, perfectly. I left. I didn't know what to do. My wife said, "Why don't you try teaching?" And I did, and I loved it. And my first year was awful, and I had lesson plans, and they didn't go. I had plans, and I thought the students should adhere to what I had planned, and I found out that didn't work that way. And 5, 6, 7 years in, at some point, I get a student teacher. And the student teacher's supervisor, his name was Chris, the student teacher. Chris's supervisor says, I'd like to know your first 6 weeks of lessons. And I was a little cheeky at the time. I'm still a little cheeky, but I was cheeky at the time. And I said, I don't know what I'm teaching for the first 6 weeks. And I said it like that. And I left it. And he said, what do you mean you don't know what you're teaching for the first 6 weeks? I said, well, the first week I have to find out who my students are. I can't possibly know what I'm going to be teaching in 5 weeks from now because I don't know if they understand absolute values. I don't know if this group knows how to do. I don't know what their skill level is. So until I know who they are, I can't tell you what I'm going to teach them. Okay. Same's here. Look, all these people. Wave hello. Hi, people. I don't know what we're going to talk about exactly today. I can't. Well, I could, but then it would be one-sided, and I'd have you all muted, and I wouldn't want to hear from you. But I want to hear from you because I want this to be live. Because as religion, I'm going on a little toot I've never said exactly before. Religion is about the here and now. It's got to be about the present. And if it's about the present, how could I have prepared exactly for it? That being said, there's no formulas. Last week, the week before, and the week before, we talked about enoughness. And here's the summary of it. Is this question. What keeps you from, at this very moment, if only secretly, experiencing that you are enough? I'm going to read that again. What keeps you from, at this moment, if only secretly, experiencing that you are enough? And I can speak to this because when I started running these services 200 plus services ago, I didn't know that I was enough. And I thought I had to entertain all of you. And I thought I had to bring an exact, and I don't. And you guys have helped me to learn that I am enough in how I'm running this service. Mm-hmm. And it goes off the rails a little bit. It goes off the rails a little bit. And not only is that fine, and not only is that enough, that's wonderful. So welcome. I'm glad you guys are all here. It's so lovely to see some returning faces and to see some new faces who are here as well. Okay. My friend Lori. Lori, we have a Lori, what are we calling you? Religion outside the box intern?
Yes. Yep, that's fine.
Well, you have what we are calling Lori's learnings or Lori's, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Lori's leanings.
Lori,
It was
tell us
Lori's leanings last week. But
Lori's leanings. Tell us
last
three.
week by mistake.
So give us three learnings, and then everyone else, I encourage you in the week to write down three things that you've learned this week. In the same way that a gratitude practice will help you have gratitude, if you keep track of three things that you learned, you will have learned three things that week. So help us out, Lori. And here's wait, before I say that, you can just take Lori's one or two of Lori's learnings as your own. Um, get full credit. Go ahead, Lori. What do you got?
Okay, so this week I learned that, well, last week when you did the thought experiment where you asked people to grade me.
Wait. Hold on 1 second. We have a rogue microphone, which is bound to happen. Say it again. The three things. The first thing you learned.
I realized when you did the thought experiment where you asked people to grade me that I really do worry a lot what people's reactions were to me, and I loved the fact that when I looked at it on the screen before you could stop people and tell them that it wasn't real, that there was a lot of positivity, and I felt really invested in the answer. So I know that I need to work a lot more in the area of not worrying about what others think about me. And
Mm,
I also need supportive criticism is a great way to learn, but we have to get our ego out of the way, which is important, especially as I'm your intern. And the second thing is it's a backhanded compliment that people who love you feel so comfortable with you that they let their hair down and will treat you badly.
mm.
And so I remember someone saying that to me with my son, who has a lot of issues. He was adopted internationally and he had a lot of issues. And they said, "Oh, well, he's mean to you. Well, that means that he really loves you and trusts you." And so I realize that I don't always treat the people I'm closest to kindly, and I want to practice changing this.
Wow, That's wonderful. Not that my
Yeah.
opinion is important, but that's wonderful.
Okay. And I was thinking about enoughness, that whole concept, and the corollary of it is that we have to realize that we have to think that others are enough as well, and that
Mm,
they're doing the best that they can. And Ross Green, who's a well-known author and I think he's a child psychologist, said that children do the best they can. And I wonder if we shouldn't think that people do the best they can under the circumstances that they're dealing with, which we may not know, that someone has had a loss or is frustrated with work or whatever. So keeping in mind that people do the best that they can is
thank you, Lori.
important.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. I'm gonna riff on that last one you said for a moment. That people are doing the best that they can. We've talked about this in the past, but it bears repeating. Nobody makes mistakes intentionally. Very few people wake up in the morning thinking, "I wonder how I can make your life miserable."
Yeah.
They do.
I learned this, and so the simplest example was if a kid was doing a math problem on the board and they dropped a negative sign, my desire was to say, "Why'd you forget the negative sign?" And the reason they forgot the negative sign was they didn't know they dropped the negative sign. Often the things that we see that people do that we feel are slighting us isn't intended to be a slight. It's just they weren't thinking what we were thinking, or they didn't do what they knew, that they were not as wise as they could be yet. Okay, I'm going to go backwards and just say I like the way you said all that, Lori. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now you got 3 more things for next week. Actually, next week is Lori's going to be running the service next week, so I don't know if she's going to do the 3 Lori's learning 3 points or not. We'll find out. Thank you,
I haven't
Lori.
decided yet.
So our topic for go ahead.
Brian, I just want to interrupt for a second. My stupid internet kicked me out. Can you make me host again, please?
Yes, in a second, as soon as I find you. There you are. Let me just, that gives me a moment to say, there are people who are backstage running things. And so thank you to, if you see somebody's name has co-host next to it, be thankful to them. They help this service to be what it is. So thank you all for keeping it as seamless as possible. Last week, I'm watching the Democratic National Convention. We're watching it with my best buddy, Greg. And Greg and I go for a hike last Friday. And he says, they kept talking about joy in the Democratic National Convention. I'm all in favor of joy, he says, but I'm not sure how to do it. And I thought, well, that sounds like a question for the Religion Outside the Box crew.
Yeah.
And so I've spent the whole week thinking about joy. And I want us to think about joy. And I'm going to start with a little example that goes like this. Let's say you lose $20. And as we were joking before, this is 50 Canadian.
I wish.
If you lose $20, do you get joy? No, I doubt it. If you find $20, is there a sense of joy?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, compare it to you find $20 and you give it to a homeless person. Is there joy?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe.
Go ahead, Carol. Oh, you're on mute, though.
I think you have to make a distinction between happiness and joy. Happiness is an emotion and it lasts a few seconds and then you want something else. Joy is transformative. It's the movement from a lesser to a greater perfection. So giving the money away is a transformation in you, and that can give you joy. Just finding the $20 does not give you joy. It gives you happiness.
And Carol, it's taken me a very long time to understand what you were talking about when you said joy is a movement from a lesser to a greater perfection.
It's
So I want to just,
transformative.
it's transformative, right? And a spiritual religious life is about transformation. It is about transformation, but it's the movement. And let's just make sure we understand the words first before we try to understand the concept. Joy is a movement from a lesser to a greater perfection. Do we get
God
the
is
word?
infinite bliss.
Well, not necessarily.
Let's just wait. We're not talking about the concept yet. I just want to make sure we all understand the words. Joy is the movement from a lesser to a greater perfection. I find $20. Is that moving me from a lesser to a greater perfection? Not really.
Mine.
I lose $20. Is that moving me from lesser to a greater perfection? Not really. I give $20 to somebody in need. That's the only one that's moving me from a lesser to a greater perfection. Okay, let's hold on to that as a starting point. Here's the question. What, Rob? Oh, you're not supposed to see my answers at the bottom. I wrote them in pencil, very small, so you wouldn't see them. What robs us of joy? And I think robs is the right word. What robs us of joy? It's not just what takes joy from us. It's a robbery. What are the things that rob you from joy? What are the things that rob you from joy?
Comparison.
Comparison. Right. That's a Teddy Roosevelt quote. Comparison is the thief of joy, said Teddy Roosevelt. Comparison. Comparison can also bring us joy, but comparison is also a thief of joy. It robs us of joy. Oh, now I can't see what my other answers were. It's okay. What else robs you of joy? I got one.
Yeah, mine too.
I am going to add in attachment.
Attachment.
But
When I
attachment,
know, go ahead, Carol.
attachment not only can rob you of joy, it can give you the deepest joy if you are attached to the people you love.
Right.
And comparison can also bring you joy if you compare where you are now to where you were 5 years ago. So each of these can go in either direction.
Right. And for those of you who want to go back to your handy dandy 6 qualities of a spiritual religious life, number 6, we've often said, was this idea of paradox, that the opposite and something and its opposite can both be true.
Okay.
This black and white thinking that we are so accustomed to doing, well, that might rob us of joy, but it's so wrong. Things and their opposites can both be true. Candace, go ahead.
This isn't really a spiritual quality, but illness.
Illness can rob us of joy and can help us have joy. What? Tell me how. I'm going to just write it down as you explain.
If you're feeling physically ill with something or other, it's difficult to feel joy when you're kind of preoccupied with the physical thing you're dealing with.
Yeah.
I think that goes in both ways. There are a number of books written by people who said the most important thing that ever happened to me was that I got cancer because suddenly I realized what's really valuable. Mm-hmm. And for the first time, I'm living every day with gratitude.
I think loss may be the thing that fits in there that is not two-sided, because you can, such great loss. I mean, how can you look at that and say, oh, I'm so glad my wife died? You know, you can't do that.
Correct.
Not if you truly love your spouse, wife or husband. If you truly love that person and you lose them and a part of you is gone,
right?
How can you then say, oh, I'm glad she died, I'm glad he died?
Oh, no. I don't think
if they're suffering.
You're confusing joy with gladness. Gladness is an emotion and it comes and it goes. Joy is transformation. And loss of my husband caused a tremendous transformation because we'd been together for 64 years.
Wow.
But it made me change my world. And I didn't like to do it. It's very difficult, but I think the world has gotten larger.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ray.
Well, okay, I can see that. I'll look at that.
And Ray, I think, I got to tell you, my heart is always touched that you have Patty's name still on your square, on your screen name.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rob and Jack.
No,
Rob, just Jack. No, Jack. Jack?
I did desire to that list.
I'm sorry. Add desire. That what robs us of joy is desire. And then I think the opposite of that could also be true, no? that desire can bring us some joy.
I'd agree with that.
Okay.
We're in the world of opposites, but I think desire mostly gets us in trouble.
That's okay.
Yes. Ellen and or Andy, who I still owe 2 stickers to.
That's right. Loss of control or feeling that you have lost control over things in your life. Hello?
No, that's really good. That was what I was gonna say. That's good.
Thank you, Ellen.
Okay, and I would answer that to say,
Okay. Go ahead,
when
Carol.
you realize that you're not in charge of the world, you're in a better place.
You can relax.
Yeah.
Because
But
control
we're not
is really
talking
an
about being
illusion.
in charge of the world. We're talking about just being in charge of yourself.
That's
And
all we
when
have.
you're being able to do things, and all of a sudden you can't. It takes. I can see that it might turn around, but it takes an extremely long time for that to happen.
It happened for me in one elevator ride. I bought a jar of orange juice and I couldn't open it. And I used every gadget in the house and I couldn't open it. And with much embarrassment, I got in the elevator to go down and find out if the people downstairs could open it. And a woman in the elevator got on and said, "Are you having trouble opening that orange juice?" I thought, how the hell did she know that? She leaned over and opened it.
Wow.
I realized we've got to learn how to ask for help, to recognize that we can't do things that we used to do. I don't have the energy I used to have. I can't open that orange juice jar. I got a different brand next time. But realizing we are not supposed to be alone. No dentist fills his own teeth.
Mm.
We need one another.
That's. I have a page that I had prepared ahead of time, as though magically. Thank you, Carol. Are you blank enough to ask for help? Are you blank enough to delight in joy?
Ooh.
To delight in joy, you need blank. I'd love to hear from people I haven't heard from already. To delight in joy, we're going to take the second one first. To delight in joy, you need to be blank enough.
Open. That's
Go ahead,
open.
Lynn.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't see who on the screen said it, but you have to be open enough.
Wow.
Who said that first? You should get credit.
Rita.
Oh, great, Rita. I was
About free.
and it's being open to joy, and I love that. I because sometimes and also, oh, we're not talking about what keeps you from joy right now.
Go ahead,
But
Lynn. Go ahead.
Worry, like oh my God, like I had to do a speech at a memorial, and I worried so much about it, and then it all came to me what to say, and it was very well received, and I had to all of a sudden, okay, switch gears. I have to be open enough to receive what they got from my speech. But I wish that I could have gotten there without worrying so much about it. So you have to be open to the joy.
Yeah, open enough. Wendy and then Ruth. Thank you, Lenny.
I was going to say you have to be present enough with your deepest self, because there's I actually had a disability where I lost a lot of my abilities and I couldn't do hardly anything. And I would have never slowed down enough to be present and see myself. I would have never slowed down enough to see that illness as as a time where I could be present and actually like face myself, where
So we
I
could put
could all of those things. I put present enough because
open and
then like
present. Yeah.
you're switching, you're flipping the script on each of these things that you spending time with yourself and learning what is keeping me, like, because it is all these things, but these things can also draw us closer. So being present in that moment.
Thank you, Wendy. Open and present enough. And Lita added, you have to be brave enough. Are you brave enough to ask for help? Are you brave enough? Go ahead, Ruth, and then John.
That was exactly the word I was going to use, Rabbi, which is brave. As an advocate for people with hearing loss, getting people to be brave enough to say a 4-letter word, HELP. It's an uphill struggle.
Yeah.
There's something about revealing the fact that you have a weakness that makes it very difficult to use the word help.
Are you brave enough to ask for help?
Being brave enough.
Isn't it? That's wonderful. Go ahead, John.
Are you at peace enough to delight in joy?
Oh, I like that. Are you quiet enough? Are you at peace enough? Are you... Yeah. I like that. In a moment, we are going to switch from second person to first person. So instead of are you enough to ask for help, I'm going to be asking us to say, I am blank enough. I want people not to do it as a question, but to do it as a declarative statement. But first, we're going to have a comment from Rob.
So you have to be present, living in the present. Each moment changes everything in your life. So live in the present. Don't worry about the future. Don't concern yourself with the past.
Amen. Amen. Are you present enough to delight in joy? Joy is in the present. Is it not? Help me. I'm saying that joy is in the present.
Of course.
It's a good place to look for it right now.
Well, there's no joy in the past.
There is not. Correct.
There sure is.
We can have joy now for what happened in the past, but
that's correct.
Right. It gets layered in. Okay. Wonderful.
Or in the future.
Yeah, all that exists is the present moment.
That's right.
Let me take a moment, look at all your beautiful faces. That's this button here. Hello, beautiful faces.
To that.
Can you be bold enough, present enough, open enough to make a declarative statement, I am enough? Would it be helpful for you to say that out loud? If it would be helpful for you to say that out loud, or if you think it might be helpful for you to say out loud, I am enough and I am... Well, I'm sorry. Wait, I'm gonna skip that one. Skip that one, because that was last week was about enoughness. I'm willing to experience joy. Willing to say that one?
Yes.
And let's see what happens. We do it. Go ahead. Who wants in first? Show me a hand. Go ahead, Rob.
Just seeing your faces gives me joy.
Amen.
Amen.
Emily, you had your hand up.
I am willing to experience joy now.
Amen. I'm going to go. I'm willing to experience joy. Jack?
I'm free to experience joy.
Yes.
Amen. Where are my shy people at? That's like, Lynn, you are not shy.
I'll hurry up with mine. I'm willing to experience joy.
Okay.
Joe's hand
I'm
started to
centered
creep
in
up.
joy.
Uh-oh, Maria, did you catch Joe about to raise her hand?
I did.
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I'd be willing to experience joy, but I'm afraid I'll lose it. And I've been thinking about this for a while. I'm also afraid of experiencing joy because I used to get in trouble for it.
Ooh.
Oh,
I think
wait.
that's true.
Yeah,
I think there's
you have no right to be happy. Yeah.
I had that on a card somewhere that I wanted to put up. Who stole our joy?
My dad, my mom, Catholic Church.
Oh, the Catholic Church could do that. Yeah.
I think sometimes people who steal joy, you can't be happy. Why? Because I'm not happy.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's true.
Right?
What?
You can't be happy because I'm not happy. You can't experience joy because I can't experience joy. I will keep you from having joy because I'm miserable.
I don't know if this person was miserable or not, but I mean, like, it was Easter, and I mean, the songs don't get any better than Easter. And so I'm singing all the Easter songs, and I was like clapping afterwards and stuff. And a lady actually looked at me and said, "You dare to be so joyful in this church?" And I just didn't know what to say.
Shut up, bitch.
Like,
are you supposed
if you
to
can't
be?
be joyful on Easter Day, I don't know when you can be. But it
Yeah.
just it triggered me to say, "Oh God, I must be doing something wrong." Okay.
C.S. Lewis. Go ahead, Carol.
I know there's a lot of toxic religion. I am reading a book now called The Flight of the Sparrow, which takes place in Puritan New England. And I think if they wouldn't have burned me at the stake, they would have certainly expelled me. What they expected of women was that they would not think, and they just agree with their husbands, no matter what's going on. And they figure if something's going wrong, someone is sinning, and we have to find out who that person is. And I think what we really need to do is trust ourselves and recognize that we have all been given an inner GPS. We know the right way, and we mustn't let anybody take that away from us, because that's an innate gift from God.
Can we get an amen?
Amen.
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 And you
Preach it,
and you learn that with age.
So there is a book by C.S. Lewis. I can't remember which book, but he talks about being surprised by joy.
That's the title.
That's the title.
Oh, well, that would be why I can't remember the title. Okay, great. Surprised by joy. It's I'm taken by the word surprised. Why is it surprised by joy? Now, without reading the book right now, take a guess. What does it mean to be
realize what you've been
surprised?
missing.
What does it mean to be surprised? I heard a voice and I couldn't tell where it came from.
You realize that what you've been missing.
To be surprised that it's there, it sneaks up on you. That joy is not something. Joy is nothing that you can go out and get. You can get a candy bar, but you can't get joy. You have to. I was talking to Larry, and Larry was telling me, joy is. I can't remember the word he used. Oh, that's fantastic! Great, good job, me. That joy is to the side. That joy is. We can set things up to allow joy in. But joy doesn't you can't just get a container of joy. Well, that's not true. You can get a container of joy, and it's wonderful. It works on dishes. It works on pots.
Ice cream.
You can get the candy bar and eating it is joy.
It
Yes,
can.
it's a
As long as you
jar
get
of
the
ice
almond
cream.
So I had another thought about joy. And I want you to imagine the Joy Olympics. And there's gold, silver, and bronze. And the gold goes to little kids. I don't think anyone here has more joy than little kids. The silver goes to older people. And the bronze goes to everyone in between. Why is that? Why is it that when you get older, you can experience more joy than you did when you were younger? I'm looking at the screen. We have a few people with purple hair, but the majority, there's a lot of white going on. A lot of you are older than... Here's a great sentence. A lot of you are older than you used to be.
Yeah. Almost all of us.
Almost all of you. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Almost all of you are older than you used to be. Do you all have more joy than you used to have? Not when you were 4, but than you had 10 years ago? And why? And what can you do to continue that? Let's hear from Ron and Wendy, who might not be answering that exact question because I asked that question after they put their
Live in the present.
Well, hold on.
I'm just reminded of the lyrics. I'm younger than that now.
Oh,
yeah. Yes.
I was so much older then.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was so much older now. I'm younger than that now.
Just ask Bob.
What Betsy just did, 4-year-olds will spontaneously sing. So will Betsy.
That's what I was actually going to say is you're free to play without judgment.
Yeah.
Right. And as you get older, if you do it right, you don't give a shit as much.
Amen.
Rita, I don't know if that's a good segue for you or not.
Well, I was just going to say that as I've gotten older, I have more gratitude.
Oh, wonderful. What is the connection? Let's hold on to that. That's going to be our next question, is going to be the connection between gratitude and joy. But in the moment, we still have Carol and John who had their hands up before we got to that. Carol?
A woman who was 117 died last week, and they asked her, what's the secret of living long? She said, I stayed away from toxic people.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Great.
Wonderful. John?
I retired. That made it easier to find joy. As much as I loved teaching and loved the kids, getting away from all the other shit that comes from government and administration and all that kind of stuff, thinking they understand all the purposes and right ways to do things, getting out of that toxic environment allowed me to experience a lot more joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patricia and or Mason?
It's Patricia here. An article was talking about you used Olympics with the bronze, silver, and gold. They said that the gold people were absolutely happy that they that they won their medal. The bronze people were very happy that they got there. The silver people were upset that they didn't try that much more to get the gold. So they were upset. So they didn't have joy.
Yeah, the silver medalists are the least happy of the three.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
I think that goes very well with a theme that we had done before, which is let's try to get 4 out of 5 stars. Let's not try so hard. Go ahead, Jack. And then Emily, I just saw your hand. Sorry.
I'm probably the oldest person here. I'll be 88.
Patricia's hand is also up.
Thank you.
And that becoming 88 has given me a great deal of time to figure out what's going on in my life. And I find that the most pleasurable and joyous is knowing that I take care of somebody.
Yes. Yes. I was thinking about what brings me joy, and Annie being cold and me giving her my sweatshirt.
Oh.
I don't know how that works, but I wind up not being cold based on the joy that I get from giving her my sweatshirt.
Everything into perspective.
Go ahead, Emily, and then Ruth. And then there was
I'm-
another hand that I missed. Go ahead, Emily.
that I experienced joy by leading the faith of my youth.
Yeah. Yeah. Finding yourself brings joy. Go ahead, Ruth.
At 91.
You win.
You win.
I usually do lately. I find that just being here and enjoying every day brings me joy, because I had no idea I was going to make it to this point in my life.
Way to go.
Well done. There was another hand, and I apologize. We had said that there was someone who had their hand up, and I missed them, and I don't want to. We all hands accounted for?
I think Patricia had her hands up.
I still have two.
Okay. We're
No,
good.
I already had said what I needed to say. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Where is joy?
In your heart.
Yes. Fine.
Good.
Where is it? It's in our heart. Is it like love that it's all around us? We need to just open our eyes to it?
Yes.
Yes.
Open your heart.
In your mind.
Is
And
joy?
joy is different things to different people. You can't just say, well, joy is just this, because it's not.
Joy is a cousin to awe.
Oh.
What is the? Yeah,
If you
it's
take care-
hard to see, but then when we see it, it's right there and it's clear, and then we lose it again, don't we? Go ahead, Harold Connie.
If you take Carol's definition that joy is transformative, that means you have to do something. It doesn't necessarily float in the ether. It means you have to say, I'm going to hand this $20 to this homeless guy if you're going to get joy. If it's transformative, it's not just going to go into you by osmosis.
Right. We have to be open to it. We have to let it in. We have to make, and then sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it just surprises us. Go ahead, John, and then Carolyn.
What I was going to say is you have to allow yourself to experience joy.
Yeah.
You have to do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Carolyn.
Well, when you put up the sign there that says "Let Joy In," it reminded me of the Carousel of Happiness, which is down in Nederland, Colorado. And their catchphrase, if you want to say that, is "Don't delay joy."
Ooh,
Oh,
I
I
love
like
that.
that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place. When I feel sad, I go down and listen to the Wurlitzer. But yeah, that's what they say. Don't delay joy.
Right.
I was just in Netherlands couple weeks ago for an annual birthday party.
Most of the best birthdays are annual.
Right.
Go ahead, Ron.
I was going to say that myself.
I'm writing that down.
Good.
I just feel like you can't do things being sure that they will bring you joy.
Correct.
I
It's
think
not
joy
transactional.
has to be, yeah, it's not transactional. Joy needs to be spontaneous.
But there are things, and this is to what Carolyn just said, there are things we can do that can delay joy. We might not be
Yeah.
able to produce it, but we sure as heck can delay it. Missy Solomon, you have your hand up. What do you got?
I do. I do. Well, what I was thinking when we were talking about what we needed to do to have joy, we were saying things like be open and be present. And to me, that implies that joy is already there. It's not something we create, it's something that already exists and we allow it in, we tap into it. So, I mean, I do think that it lives inside us. I think that is the place that it resides and we block it.
Why do you
But I
think
just
we
think
block
it's curious
out?
that it's there anytime. It's really there anytime we choose to allow it.
Why do you think we block it out, Missy?
Oh, I think it goes back to a lot of what we were talking about, the comparison. But I think for me, really, it's almost like a lack of faith or fear. I think Joe alluded to it, that if I really go there, it's going to get taken away, and then I'm going to have to experience that piece of it being taken away or losing it, and I don't want to go there, so I'll suffer
Right.
having the other to the same extreme to avoid the unpleasant of it not being present. My hand up.
Let me
Go
go
figure.
Wendy, Ellen, Carol, and then I have another thought I want to bring in.
I want to add on what Missy said, actually. This week I heard that breathing in is not the work. Like sometimes inhaling feels like it's work, but breathing in is just an opening. It's naturally that breath will come in, unless there's something that's blocking it. And
Oh, that's like
and
joy.
it's yeah. So
I see what you're saying.
one of the things that I thought of that blocks is a negative self-belief. Like what Joe said was, oh, I did something wrong. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I shouldn't do this. So that was my thought.
It takes a lot of openness to allow joy in. Go ahead, Ellen Andy.
For me, I need to give myself permission. John, I think, said something about you have to allow joy in. Well, I have to give myself permission, and I'm not even Catholic, and I just have this feeling
a t-shirt
of guilt. Yeah, right. I'm not even Catholic, but I have this feeling of guilt and like, why do I deserve to feel joy when there are millions and billions of people in the world who, are suffering so much? So it's, it's just not right. I don't deserve to feel joy. So I have to talk myself out of that and give
I'm gonna
myself.
magically absolve you. There, that should do it.
Thank you. I didn't know you were a priest and a rabbi.
Well, I got a C in prayer class in graduate school. I got a C, so I'm not really sure my prayers work very well.
I'm
ahead,
still feeling guilty, so it hasn't worked yet.
It hasn't
but I'll
worked
try.
yet.
I'm
Carol?
not Catholic, but I am was born Baptist or raised Baptist. I think it's almost as bad.
Oh. I was going to say, oh, she must be Baptist.
Go
I
ahead,
am
Carol.
Jewish, and there is a lot of Jewish.
I think someone already mentioned this, that there's a direct correlation between gratitude and joy.
Yes.
And if we take the time to really notice how gifted we are every single moment that we're alive, you can see. That's incredible. You can hear. You have not directed the blood in your body to go to the right organs, and it does it without your interfering. It is such an amazing, wondrous thing to be alive.
So to buy a ticket towards joy, gratitude seems like a good investment. Go ahead, Harold, and then I'm going to bring in this. I want to bring in so bad.
It's me.
I apologize.
That's all right.
I think that we have educated ourselves out of joy.
Amen.
It comes from, oh, you need to sit at the table and be quiet, and you need to hold your fork this way, or no, you don't run, you've got a dress on. And all my life, somebody has told me, behavior was everything. Joy comes when you don't behave, because you just get out there and scream bloody murder to somebody, or you laugh, or you cry.
Love it.
But just it's been educated into us not to do it.
Connie, I would like on behalf of the entire group to uneducate you and give you the freedom to not behave.
You go, Connie. You go.
It's all,
No
it's all right
comment.
to be heard and not just seen. It's
Correct.
okay.
Here's a quote. The most profound joy has more gravity than gaiety in it.
Oh, would you repeat that again?
Yeah, I was about to. The most profound joy has more gravity than gaiety in it. Now, I'm not saying this is right, but I want us to think about this. Most
Why are you
profound
leaving off
joy.
the prepositions when you read it?
It's more gravity.
I didn't understand, John.
Keep your feet
The most
on the
profound
ground.
joy has more of gravity than of gaiety.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, I missed some words there. The most profound joy has more of gravity than of gaiety in it.
That's true.
I liked it without the, but okay. The most profound joy has more of gravity. There's more gravity than gaiety in joy? Huh?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when you
Yes,
see
definitely.
someone,
Okay, we're not
when
going to
you see-
fight. We're not going to break off. This is not.
Gravity.
Go ahead, Joe.
So I had my oldest granddaughter is 11, and she's been spending the night with me since she was 3, and she hasn't spent the night in quite some time because of the 6 months of dual cancer in the household. And so she got to spend the night August 16th. First of all, I was surprised that she still wanted to do it at 11. She's the one that asked, and she said, Grandma, I haven't been to your house in forever. And so that she asked was joyful all in itself. But when she was 3 and she started sleeping over here, she used to always grab my hand. Where's the hand? Grandma, where's the hand? Where's the hand? And so because she hasn't been here in a while and she's 11, I was like, okay, she won't do the hand thing, Joe. It's okay. You don't have to worry. It'll be just as lovely having her there. But that grounded in gravity thing made me think about, because she didn't say hand, but she stuck it out. And I grabbed her hand, and it was instant, grounded in the gravity of the feel of that child's hand. And I don't even have words for it because it just was so beyond.
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to take one final comment from Missy, and then we're going to do some prayers for those in need of extra help. Go ahead, Missy.
I was just noticing as Joe was sharing that, the way that made me feel to hear her story and share her joy.
Yes.
It was palpable and contagious. And I mean, it was as real for me as if it had been my own experience.
Yeah.
So I guess we can do that for people.
Surprise. Good. Maria. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lynn. Look, do you need to use the restroom?
Just want to reiterate on that, Joy. You're a wonderful. You express joy. You are what Easter is all about, which is rejoicing and rebirth. And that woman was the devil. She was wrong to say anything about you expressing love and joy on Easter, because that's what Easter is all about. And that story about your granddaughter, we all felt that joy. So and it was just beautiful. Thank you.
Amen.
Let's
Amen.
turn our heads a little bit more towards gravity than gaiety, and pray for those who are in need of a little extra healing this week. Maria?
These are the people to whom we are sending light and love. Joe and Ken, Sheridan H., Ann M., Rita S., Shirley W., Judy Love and her family, Tane and Kelly, Peggy in spirit and her husband Ralph, Sander and Amethyst Feinberg, Rich and Meg, Francis, Paul, Joan D. in spirit, Snickers, Wendy, Nancy, and Lorena. If there is another person in our community to whom we can offer light and love, please put their name in the chat and I will add them to the list on Facebook. And for the people who aren't named but who are in our thoughts, we send them light and love as well.
Let's take a minute of time. Thank you. Usually we also do moments of gratitude. And I think in the topic of joy, we did do a lot of talking on gratitude. So I'm feeling all right, like I can check that box. But let me ask, if there is something for which there's something dear on your heart that you want to shout out in this group about your gratitude for, I don't want to cut you off. So if there's a thing that you really want to share with the group of gratitude, go ahead, Emily. Oh, you were scratching. Don't do that.
Yeah, scratching.
Go ahead, Rita.
Well, I mentioned gratitude back when we were discussing joy.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, yes, well, we'll talk about that later. And it never came back. And it had to do with being older. It had, somebody before me had just talked about, well, somehow age. And I find for myself that I am grateful for a lot more than I was when I was younger, that I've gotten wiser.
Good.
From that point of view, at least.
I do remember the conversation about gratitude, that gratitude is a ticket we can buy. It won't necessarily buy us joy, but it increases our odds of getting it. The more gratitude we have, the better our chances of being surprised by joy or finding joy or experiencing joy.
Right.
People who are not grateful don't experience joy. Okay, dear ones, I think our stacking 3 services about enoughness and then this conversation about joy, I didn't plan it that way, but I really see clearly how that works. That without this sense, if I don't feel like I am, the more, just like what we were just saying, Rita, about gratitude, the more I feel I have gratitude, the more I know I am enough. I can't find the card where we wrote it. The more I know that I am enough, even if it's just secretly experiencing enoughness, the more joy that I have. I'm going to thank all of you, and thank you to the people who are on Facebook. I see there was a lot of there were a lot of comments going on. Thank you, dear Facebook people. Let's say goodbye to all of those people as we continue with small groups here. Goodbye, Facebook friends.